Navigating your way through the ascension process is never easy, and in most cases is tremendously confusing and concerning. Vibe Nation radio hosts Carrie Turcotte and Dean Thomas lift the veils of illusions and speak plain and simple truth about what is really going on. Each week, they will guide you through the latest energy shifts and discuss essential tools to help you on your journey. They will be joined regularly by fellow soul family members who will have a skill or topic to discuss that is important to share. At the end of each show, they tap into the energies of the listeners and see what Spirit has to share with you for the week ahead. If you really want to get to know who you truly are, come and join us now on Vibe Nation Radio, here on the IUM Radio Network.
Does that mean we're here again? Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Carrie,
hello.
how are you this evening? Are you here too?
I'm here.
That's good. I was nearly disconnected just now, and I wondered what was going on, but I'm alive. Number 5 is alive. Feeling a little bit of James Brown coming your way. Anyway, clarity from past lives and past situations. Are we going to talk about that this week, Carrie?
Absolutely. I love this topic. You know,
It's one of my favorite topics after many years of trying to get to know who I am and realizing that I did begin to discover all about past lives some 25 years ago. And I realized today just how important that past life regression I had in Australia 25 years ago is relevant to my life today. And what I would like to share with the listeners is how relevant they are to your current life and to identifying your current life repetitive behavior, and how relevant dealing with the psyche is in this lifetime to enable you to release and to open up Pandora's box on past lives and past life memories. There's a deep breath there.
I'm in thought. You know me. I think I'm traveling to a past life right now. That we've done this before,
Well,
Dean.
Absolutely.
And,
I'm sure.
and it's just to let people know that, if you haven't experienced a past life, the energies that are coming up this month will probably throw you there. And a lot of times you've had them, but you just don't recognize or know what they are. And, we were talking about this earlier about Dean and I about how right now, those that are actually in divine union or twin flames or twin souls, that they're being pulled into many different dimensions right now. And really to understand that you need to start in this life and peel the onion and go back to childhood where it stems from. And when your soul is ready to pull you into a past life, you will get pulled. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're going there to go into dark. It could be that you're going there for wisdom and knowledge, but there is usually some dark that you go to, but out of it comes the love to why you went through it.
Definitely, most definitely. And, this weekend has been quite interesting as Carrie and I were discussing earlier. When we wrote this program schedule back in the beginning of middle of January, when we wrote our schedule for this first 6 weeks of our show, how relevant it is, the foresight that we had to preparing the show schedule to coincide with energies. And I'm psychic, but not psychic. I don't practice that psychic stuff, that psychic side of me, but it shows that our souls are in tune with what information we need to know and when it's relevant to be shown. And I know from my own experience the last week and many others that I work with, that the energies have been drawing us, particularly those that are close to us, to triggers. And these triggers are coming back for cases of you're going through in this lifetime, but they're really referring to past life reoccurrences, repetitive patterns in this current lifetime. And as a twin myself, I know the relevance of past lives to today, why I've done what I've done, what I'm likely to repeat again. And it's very interesting when you are drawn to a past life, the parallels to your current lifetime. Particularly if you have memory of who you have been or who you believe you have been, and you look at their life, you can see the parallels in your current lifetime, like your characteristics, in some cases body features, and the way that you are. And I've always said in all of my teachings to my students, to know who you need to go back. You need to go backwards to go forwards. You need to purge what you've gone through in this lifetime, good or bad, to get to this inner self, to this true identity that you are. And when you're going back and looking at repetitive behavior, you can identify where it's come from in your current lifetime. Particularly, most of it's come from your childhood, and your current lifetime is a template based upon that childhood. Once you get to the childhood, don't have any fear, don't have any shame. It can't hurt you again. It really can't hurt you. Have no fear of who you've been. And when you go back to your childhood or through your teenage years and back into your childhood, you're releasing all of the suppressed thoughts, experiences, good or bad, that are built up inside you. And as you're confronting and challenging what you've gone through, you really are opening up this Pandora's box to freedom, to freeing your soul from this baggage and to freeing your physical body from all of this baggage. And past life regression is one method of going in depth into past lives. But once you start this inner psyche work, you start to tend to have dreams. And these dreams may be a certain time or place that's old, very, very old. And you may witness something very, very dark. Whether you witnessed it or experienced it, it does resonate with who you are today. The type of character that you are will also be the character that you were then. One of my past lives is a Benedictine monk, where I witnessed so many atrocities, but I was a man of peace. And I was always trying to promote peace and trying to stop this travesty and to stop war. In one, I was back in the 16th century. Don't mind me going on about this, Carrie Deane. In the 16th century, in the Château de Versailles, and I was lecturing the then French princess to convince her father to stop war with the English. And then all of a sudden, I'm zoomed into the Tower of London, where I see this beautiful princess executed alongside a crown prince. And then I disappear into the mountains and live my life as a Benedict monk in peace. So I look at that, how that relates to my life today. I've always been a man of peace, always trying to be the negotiator, trying to stop aggression, trying to stop violence, trying to have some oversight into certain situations, and genuinely of good character and an empath. But today's life is very much in line with other lives that I've experienced in the past. And I'm not going to name characters that I believe I've been, because I think it's all personal. But when you start to go into past lives, you will see the parallels with your current life.
Absolutely. It's I'm just loving listening to you this week, Deane. It's awesome. This is like, I just have to say how much I love talking about this, because it's been a huge part of myself through this awakening or this ascension process. The amount of past lives that I have connected with and given me clarity. And there's certain ones that I know that play a key role in who I am today, because I'm able to experience this and find out why I went through certain things in this past life, and certain characters that were in that lifetime started to come to fruition. It was like, oh my gosh, you're so-and-so. And it allowed me to understand why that person did what they did in this lifetime, why I did that song and dance with them. It was able to give closure to something, to say, okay, now I understand why you came after me again in this lifetime. I get it. And it was kind of like, wow. And it was clarity for me to be able to say, great, let's be able to put closure to this and move on. And this is what happens when you get pulled in. And it allowed the wisdom and knowledge. The love that I have from that lifetime is so strong, because there's so many players in this lifetime that were in that life as well, including my beloved. So, it's revealing certain things, and it allows you to be able to use that knowledge and wisdom now to be able to move into this new that we're coming into. We're here. This is it. The boat has arrived.
Oh yeah, it's the 29th of February, a leap year. So
Yes.
tomorrow is a good day. It really is a good day to lift the veils of illusion on your own life.
Yes.
And not to be afraid, not to have any shame, and really start to look closely at yourself, your traits, your characteristics, your behaviors. And you will see, as life is a cycle, 9-year cycle, 7-year cycles, this 5-year cycles, this life is a full cycle, is a circle, the circle of life. We're doing something that we've done before. And by going backwards into this lifetime and into previous lifetime, we have got the opportunity to change the outcome of that previous existence or that previous ending. And if you're really awake, you will identify that and you will recognize that, and your ego will be saying to you, no, let's not do this, let's not do that. I'm thinking this and I'm thinking that. And you have to be strong. You have to be that warrior that you have always been in your life. And, we may laugh and joke about calling ourselves warriors, but we are warriors of light. And we know that there is a path of righteousness. We know that there's a path of light, and there's a path towards love, a love that we've never experienced before, and love that has no attachment. It's just pure unconditional love. And that all comes from places like Atlantis, where many of us are drawn to these days, places such as Egypt, where many that I resonate with are coming from. And it is really taking the opportunity to look at these places that resonate with you. Maybe you're drawn to Egypt, maybe you're drawn to Greece, maybe you're drawn to South America, to the Mayans, or maybe to Australia, to the Aborigines, or anywhere. Think of a place that resonates with you. And after the break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about this, because with these places, there are triggers. And with these triggers, we will reveal the past lives.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Have you ever wondered what is blocking your greatest prosperity in any aspect of your life? Do you know that in this moment, you're actually creating your own reality? At New One Universe, we know how to access those programs, and we offer a radical way to clear and release the negative blocks and reset your soul blueprint. Come join us at newoneuniverse.org, Facebook/New One Universe.
The truth is, you can't change the world if you're broke. I know, I tried. Isn't it time you turned your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business? I'm Michelle Barr. Join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sacred Success.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Well, here we are back again. That was a short break.
Yes, it was. It's because we're in the fifth dimension, buddy. There is no time there.
Oh, absolutely. Time has no meaning. But let's back to my recap on places that resonate with you. What some of you may be drawn to Egypt, some, like Mayan, South America, North America. think about these places and think about things that you've watched in throughout your life, or you're drawn to a certain place. I'd love to go and tour this place. I'd love to go and see this place. Look at this in a little bit more detail and go into the history. Maybe even look at your family tree and see where your bloodlines come from. And it will reveal so much about where you have come from in history, where you have come from as a soul, particularly your bloodline. And, you know, I never believed I would ever go to Russia when I was younger, but I was there 5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago. I never believed I would go to Australia. I was in Australia. I've traveled the world for my work, for my life, really, just trying to find places that I'm drawn to. And, you know, I remember when I was younger living in Australia, I actually went to Indonesia, Bali, the island, 9 times. On the 9th time, I was drawn to a temple set in a lake, Lombok Temple. And after that, I just left. That was it. That my sole purpose was to go and see this beautiful temple in a lake. No idea why I went there, but I was never drawn to go back. But in a year, I went there 9 times to Bali. I was drawn there. The same as living in New Zealand. I mixed with the Maori culture. I toured the whole of the South Island in New Zealand, mixing with the Maori culture, which is not, let's say, trashed by modern day Christianity. It's an indigenous people that still believes in its own spiritual concepts of its warriors, of its ancestry. And this is what they practice. And throughout my journey there, I was given pieces of bone. There was one seal that was carved out of a whale tooth that went with me from my journey from New Zealand back to the United Kingdom. For what reason it was given to me was for my safe journey. And this is the type of thing that man today is so bombarded with, let's say, jargon, with nonsense, that life should be this way, it has to be this way because, let's say, I don't want to get into politics, because Donald Trump says this, or because Bill Gates says that, or because Mr. Ford says this, or Mr. General Motors says this. This is the type of society we have. A new car every 3 years. Why? You know, I still love my Mini Cooper. This is the type we become so materialistic, and it's keeping up with the Joneses. But what the hell for? What purpose does it serve us? The only purpose it serves are the big conglomerates and the big corporations that are simply profiting from you. When you take this back to who you are and you apply this into your own life, you are the single most important person. And what you are, who you are, and what you're made of is what is going to bring this true love that's trapped inside of you come flowing out and flowing through you. And to deal with this, you really need to take a closer look at your life today, your repetitive behaviors, and I'm just going to keep repeating that, the repetitive behaviors of your current life path, to get to all of this suppressed feeling and let's say pain, because most of it is pain. Some of it is love also, because, you know, as I've written before, some have been so loved as children that they don't know what love really is today. And on the other scale of things, children that were beaten or poorly treated have this false perception of love because they've never had love as a child. So our psyches are all really screwed up and messed up, that we need to start there. And I'm lucky my awakening journey started with the psyche, because I thought I was going crazy. And that's the journey that I took myself on. And I try to teach this these days to people that are so high in 5D, doing all of this spiritual healing and energy healing. It doesn't start up there. It starts with who we are, this physical body that we are, our soul is experiencing. And once we get to fix this, we can then move forward, because the spirituality will always be there. Getting to the spiritual side of us is relatively easy and straightforward, because once we're coming from a position of love, it comes naturally. The hard part is battling the ego, it's battling the past, battling the pain, and battling that misconception of what love is. And past lives are key to your current lifetime. And the more that you open your mind to receiving information from your soul memories, which will come through in dreams, from past life regression experiences, or from triggers, you will become to see the raw you, the raw ingredients of who you are, and you're able to repackage it and step forward in a new way, because what we are experiencing now is all new. For those that are awakening and on a spiritual journey, on a divine path, in divine union, or with their twin, they know that the old has no place in where we're going. And we see the battle every day between the egoistic corporations and the politicians that are trying to ram crap down our throats. And there's us light workers walking around saying everything's going to be okay, everything's going to be okay, because everything will be okay. We just need to make it okay. You know, we need to stop listening to that nonsense and form our own path going forward with our own belief system and our own belief mechanism, knowing that we are love and we are pure and we are worthy. Over to you, Carrie.
Well, thank you, Dean. Well, and it's interesting that you're saying this because knowing what we're going into energetic-wise, I mean, this is really what we're going through. That, you know, we're being guided to tap into our higher selves and bring out this creative source energy within us. And that creative life source energy generates from who you are as a soul, because we are co-creators. So by being pulled into these memories that we're getting pulled into this month, again, there's so much wisdom and knowledge there for your taking. If you can just learn to do the song and dance with your ego or your shadow side, knowing that this is the new, you will be dancing with your shadow side for the rest of your life until you go to the other side. So enjoy this is a new book that we're writing, my friends. And the past live memories and the wisdom and knowledge, that love that we're connecting with now is coming with us into the new. And, you know, we didn't do this song and dance for eons, especially those that are in divine union, just for the heck of it. I mean, there is a bigger purpose to help humanity shift into the higher dimensions with this. And that's why sometimes it is so crazy in the experiences that you have, because the twins are here to actually break the 3D templates and create the new 5D templates. So when you're doing this on a mass for all of humanity, you know, again, if you're in divine union, going into past right now or parallel lives or even future lives, it's going to happen, my friends. It's with the energy. And I just did this monthly overview. I did the vibe report, and I connected with another soul sister with her twin astrology, Marla, and it creates this beautiful picture about what's happening. And I want to give her credit here because this is her information that tomorrow on the 1st, the Self Node conjuncts Atlantis at 21 degrees Pisces, which is going to kick in past life memories of Atlantis. And it's going to be through dreams and visions. So day flashes and night visions. And this is going to allow to release memories from Atlantis, either on a conscious level or a subconscious level. So, you know, this is a time where it's aligned with the universal forces to allow us to go through this experience, to embrace these memories these soul memories that start to come through you.
Well, there's astrology and there's astrology, isn't there? There's planetary lineups have long been around back in through history, where travelers and famous philosophers were quoting planets and their planetary effects on the human body and the human psyche. And this is very, very true. You have the astrologers that talk about stuff in your life, but the real art of astrology is to understanding how the planets affect us and what their meaning is. And it's funny because I was talking to a friend of mine about my view on my situation from Atlantis and how my family or my soul family is linked to Atlantis and the water and all of these things. And these things come out of my mouth straight from source. They come from my higher self. I'm saying something without conscious thought.
Yeah.
And this is what we're being tasked to do. And we see on a day by day basis, the ego is coming out. The ego, I can't do this. I can't, lose the word can't and don't and won't, because there's no purpose. It will flow through you one way or another. The more you resist it, the more it will fight you. And it is pushing and pushing and pushing you to get to this core, to get to this inner you, this inner sanctuary, the freedom, the love that is just oozing to come out. It's like a volcano, you know, and you may think you're going crazy, having these weird dreams or these weird experiences, or suddenly your life has gone tits up, for whatever another expression I can't think of. But these things are happening for a reason. It's stop, look and listen to yourself, not what's going on around you and not what's going on outside of you. Listen to what your soul is screaming at you until you're blue in the face. And once you realize that, this is when the work starts. You know, you can go and have energy healing and you can go and have other work done, but you cannot avoid the human psyche. You cannot do it because we mentioned this on the first show. There are 3 strands to a human being: mind, body, and soul. The mind needs to be dealt with to be able to enable the other 2 to merge with it. And this all is encompassed in past life and current life. And we cannot be afraid of it. We cannot be afraid of going into the lion's den because we've done it before. You know, if we've come from Atlantis, we've been through this before. If we've come from Rome, we've been through this before. Wherever we've come from, we've come through a battle. And even this life is a battle. But now we have the opportunity to stop the battles and to move forward in places of serenity, to enjoy life to the fullest, in love and at oneself, with oneself, in total peace. Isn't that going to be a beautiful life if we could all switch off the ego, or just rely on the fifth dimensional ego? It would be a wonderful place. The planet would change overnight. We should drop the planet a MDMA bomb or something like that, you know. Sorry, Chris.
I want to fly the plane there, honey. I'll be very good at that one. As I'm traveling right now into some place really cool, into a commercial, that's where I'm going to.
Cool. See you when we come back.
We'll be right back.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Are you seeking an alternative way to heal your mind, body, and soul? Reiki can be the answer for many of you. Whether through touch or remote transfer of powerful universal life energies, we can activate the natural processes to help you restore the perfect balance in your life. As an Usui Reiki Master, I can help you to realize your full potential with immediate result. Find me through Facebook for further details at Triple Goddess Healing.
Come heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is nothing but connecting with your all-knowing higher self that already has solutions to all your problems and is always there to guide you. Through this show, we help you to connect with that you are and tap into that innate potential you have to transform your life and fly high. Please join me, your host Monica Goyal, every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Namaste.
The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM.
Hello.
I'm still flying.
We're doing the time warp over here, buddy. I can hear the song going from the embassy now.
Let's do the time warp now, yeah. Yep. But isn't there a song about that? Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
But didn't we?
The time warp began. Yeah, it's from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's the one. That's what life feels like, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here we go again.
It's kind of what we're going through right now with the energies, which, again, I feel it's important for the listeners to understand that this is a week where the soul memories are going off the chart. And this is allowing you to connect with your shadow side, to be able to confront who you truly are, your truth. And this is allowing you to open up through your third eye, which will bring you the clarity, which will also pull you into past lives, because it's opening up the channel where the love is as well. So I don't want people to think that if you go into a past life this week, it's going to be all doom and gloom. I'm getting that there will also be a lot of love that's coming in, and it's going to open up that wisdom and knowledge. Like you said, that you're just sitting there and you're talking, and all of a sudden stuff comes out of your mouth and you're like, whoa, I'm getting wiser by the moment.
Yep.
It just comes out. Right. Mm-hmm. So, be prepared for this leapfrog. Like we're saying, like we're going from ribbit, say ribbit tonight, and rabbit tomorrow, and realize we're using this leap year to be able to leap into what is March. It's a brand new book. We're here.
Get started. Countdown is beginning. Yeah. But no, the energies, particularly this last week, I know, I would say at the beginning, my own personal situation has been confrontation after confrontation, being peacemaker, resolution finder, particularly within my own small family circle here. And I'm thankful that I have gone through this and still go through this awakening process, this ascension process. And I'm so grateful that I pulled some of the tools from past lives into this life, because I don't want to repeat what's happened before. I want to salvage what is existing today and create something new. And one of the things about building, you can't mix old concrete with new concrete, because the old concrete would disintegrate the new concrete. So we are being pulled with the energies, with the planetary alignments and whatever else we want to call it. We're being pulled to process, purge, and release what no longer serves us. And this is the old cement. We have new foundations to build. And these foundations have to be the strongest and the most rigid foundations that we've ever built in our lives. It doesn't matter whether you're 18 years old or 80 years old. You have the opportunity with the current energies to build a new foundation, to begin a completely new book. And whether this is a life cycle or whether this is a planetary cycle or whether it's a universal cycle, it doesn't matter. It's what you do with the tools that you have to enable you to create that foundation. And the foundation is the basis for your platform going forward, and to really creating something tremendously new. You will still have the confused state of mind about what you're doing and what you're saying, but your ego will come in and say, no, you can't do that. You need to do this. You must do it this way. You must. But if you allow the energy, if you allow the thoughts to simply flow through you, you will build that foundation, and you will make that foundation very, very strong. And as the days and the hours pass and the weeks pass and the months pass, you will find that that foundation is really what you've been trying to achieve for all of your lifetime. And you are given this chance and this opportunity to make it again. You already know the consequence of repetitive behavior or other influences in your life by listening to external influences. You have the opportunity once again to change the outcome of what has previously occurred. And if we're foolish enough not to take this opportunity, then for sure, in the future, at some point in your life in the future, it will come back. It may not come back in a year or 2 years, but be sure it will come back. It will present itself again. And the outcome will be far more impactful or serious than you've previously experienced. And I can say this throughout my life. The highs, every high has been higher than the previous high, and every low has been lower than the previous low. So now I'm in the middle, building this foundation of a new way of living, a new way of communicating, a new way of being, and that is being myself. not being the mouthpiece for other people, not being the mouthpiece for shareholders. I'm being my own mouthpiece with my own knowledge and my own wisdom from my own experiences from this life and my previous lives, and teaching that to others so that they too can understand that there's more to us than what the media tells us we are or what the internet tells us we are. There is more to us than this. Once we tune into ourselves and we really do connect to our higher self and the higher dimensions, we are open to receiving all of this wisdom that is bubbling up inside of us. And when we tap into that wisdom, innocently or not, our lives will transform and our lives will change, and our lives will change for the better. Yes, there will be points throughout this, as many of you know, where you are at your lowest point in your life and you really wish to stop. But think about it. If you stop, you're going to have to go through it all again in one way, shape or form. So therefore, it's better and far more less stressful for you to get it over and done with now and enjoy just being and having the ability just to move forward on a day-by-day basis without having to think, without having to process somebody else's BS or having to listen to somebody else's BS, just being yourself and meandering through life without too many worries in the world. It's a beautiful place to be. And you can all do that. You all have the ability to do that if you are able to just simply stop, look and listen to what your soul is saying to you. And many of you may not understand what your soul is calling to you or what you're being pulled to or being drawn to. But if you stop, unplug from the 3D matrix for a week, you will discover more in a week of silence that will serve you for the rest of your life. And that's maybe your homework for this week. Take a day out of the matrix, not a week. Take a day out of the matrix and really unplug and come in tune with yourself. Take this time for yourself and understand that you have the opportunity. The energies are definitely here. I won't be talking like this if the energies weren't in alignment with what I'm saying. The energies support it. The planetary aspects certainly support it. The universe supports it. And you yourself will know that there's some crazy stuff going on in your life. So if you're listening to these words, take this crazy stuff and reflect on this. Look in the mirror and say, where is this coming from? It's coming from you. And what you make with this is entirely up to you. You have the opportunity to change and to transform your life into the most beautiful life that you can create, or you can continue. And if you continue, you know the consequences are going to be that at some point in the future, you will have to go through this process again. Maybe this is what you want to do. Maybe you get a buzz out of it. I know that I don't anymore. But the ego will only serve us so far. And when the ego's done its dash, the soul will take over. And the soul will firmly slap you across the face with love slaps.
Yes, love slaps.
And say, stop. Stop what you're doing and think about what you're doing and just simply change it. If you have the inclination of wanting to change your life, stop, look and listen. As you said, the Green Cross Road. When you're really across the road, stop, look and listen. When you're looking at life, life is like a big highway. You can take the path to transformation and stop, look and listen, or you can join the rest of the psychos driving down the highway at 100 miles an hour. and wherever you go, you go. But I know where I would like to be, and I know where I'm going, and it's to a better place.
Yeah. And we're in full circle right now. So everything that you're saying, true. Like, just stop and think about it. What situations in your life right now are taking place that are truly full circle once again? A lot
for sure. I mean, yeah, definitely. That's big time right now, especially for a lot of people that I'm teaching and working with. They're seeing characteristics now that were 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. They're repeating.
Yep.
And it's another opportunity. And I think we touched on this last week. It's another opportunity to change the outcome. How did that situation change? How did that situation affect you? Do you have a lesson to learn from this, or do you have something to give to somebody else that will serve them, that they need to know? And this is one thing that man has also forgotten. We're all teachers, but we're also all students. Mm-hmm. We should never close our eyes and ears to learning. and learning on a day-by-day basis. I try to learn at least 2 or 3 new things every day, and that's probably why I spend so much time writing. But I learn something from my research, from my investigations, from my own writing. I learn more about me. I think I'm a word genius. Mm-hmm. But this is something that I never had 5 years ago, but it was always inside me. And now it's flowing full steam ahead. And this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm drawn to do. It's not to make a living. It's what I'm strongly passionate about, is sharing this wisdom and knowledge that I have with the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. And whoever listens to it, listens to it. Whoever resonates with it. But there's a lot of reality, there's a lot of fact, and there's a lot of truth in what is written and what is being said. And when you take time to listen to it, maybe you can listen to the show again. When you take time to listen to it, it's very valid, because, there are many great past life gurus out there that will also endorse what I'm saying, is we have to go backwards to understand who we are. And once we're able to do that, we're able to move forward. And, that is evolution. Man these days is so intent on pushing forward, and is not picking up the mess behind it. And you can look at climate change, you can look at deforestation, you can look at all of these things. If we had just taken the time just to plant another tree where we took a tree, the climate change, there wouldn't be an issue with the climate. It's simple. What we take from Mother Earth, we need to give back in one way, shape, or another. It's the same with our bodies, the same with our psyches. If something is coming back, we haven't cleaned up behind us. And it's important that we do clean up behind us to be able to move forward. Otherwise, we're going to drag this through to 2 or 3 weeks before we pass away, and then we're going to be sitting there feeling sorry for ourselves and be asking for forgiveness. And that last 3 weeks or 4 weeks is going to be tremendous. But anyway.
We'll be back right after this commercial.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Have you been searching for a perspective beyond the mainstream? Check it out. Join your hosts Cielito Pascual and Diana Gold Holland on Share International Radio for thought-provoking views behind the news. Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio. You can also find us at shareontheairradio.org. This may be the message of hope you've been waiting for.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the Internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Vibe Nation Radio is brought to you by Carrie Turcotte and Deane Thomas. Each week, we bring a refreshing outlook to lifting the veils of illusion that occur in our daily lives. We will share our own learnings and personal experience that allow others to understand who they truly are.
At the end of each show, Carrie will be tapping into the listeners' energies just to give an idea of what to expect for the week ahead. So join us each Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and together we will discover the inner keys that will unlock the true you.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Mark and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience and all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hello, and welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio. Before we kind of wrap this up with the whole past life conversation here, I just love this music. Are you there, Dean?
I'm here listening, yes.
Okay. So I think they were just that was spirit getting their tune up to come in to give this message. So what I'm getting with regards to this upcoming week is that it's going to happen really, really fast. Things are going to just fly. Like they're saying, like time warp they've been talking about. But it's a time where you need to be patient with what is happening, because they're saying it's kind of like it's really important to stay in the now, in the present moment, because with the energies moving so quickly this week with these past life situations or past life experiences, that a lot of the lower vibrations that, it might keep you up at night. You might have, a lot of night sweats, the Kundalini energy, tossing and turning, the vivid dreams. But they're saying that you might even wake up crying, they're saying. But it's kind of like they're saying this is like those past life memories that are coming out of you. And they're kind of saying they're linked to the things that you've got your guard up against right now. So take a moment and think about, what do you have your guard up against? Are you waiting for something else to get thrown at you? And if you are, do realize it's probably feeding from something in this life as well as something from a past life. So they're saying use that feminine energy. So that's your spiritual higher 5D energy. And they're saying use that to get that creative sacral chakra going. They're talking strongly about the creative life source. And they're saying that this is going to allow you to create this new beginning, because again, we are leaping into the new. You have written the last chapter of your last book in your life of 3D, and you're jumping into 5D. And when Dean was talking about, breaking one condo down and building another, I thought about the condo in my head exercise. So if you haven't done the condo in my head exercise, I would highly advise you to do that, because that will allow you to see why you've done the song and dance with so many people, but to be able to find the beautiful moments in those gemstones that came out of that song and dance. So I'm just be patient this week. Is really important that you understand that, because if not, you might fly away because of the female energy that is the feminine energy that's in play this week. So there you go. Time to put closure to a past life or a past situation to be able to move forward. This is the new beginning.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's a famous proverb by Buddha. Just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past over and over again. And this is really, really true. And, I can't stress enough the importance of not being afraid to delve into your past life. Sometimes it can be very exciting. Sometimes it can be really interesting, particularly if you've been around Greece or Rome or Egypt even, it's really interesting. And you get to know so much about who you are today. And if you recognize a past life of a famous person, of somebody in history that's stood up and made a stand for humanity, you could be living that life again. And you look at the way that life ended. If it ended in travesty or failure, try and find a way to stop that from happening this lifetime. And it's just allowing these, soul memories to come through. Soul memories come through in dark dreams. I know I've had many of them. And it's part of the process. The night sweats, I was mentioning to Carrie during the break that my temperature has risen tremendously in the last 15, 20 minutes. Maybe my passion is firing up, but it is that inner core is literally bubbling up inside you, and it needs to be released. We are all, just be careful where you're going to vent this, vent this out in nature. Vent this out where nobody's going to hear you. Don't vent it on somebody that you believe deserves it, and they really don't deserve it. It's us that we need to conquer ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't need to conquer anybody else. We don't need to control anybody else. We need to put this into perspective. It's all about us.
Yeah, it starts with you. And Dean and I were talking before the show, too, that I have agreed to do a channeled guided message through a deep meditation to allow people to go through a past life. So we will have that information up on our websites probably in the next 24 hours. And this will allow you to understand that where you get pulled is directly where you need to go for yourself. And this will allow your soul to speak to you that which it needs to know right now. The wisdom or knowledge, or maybe it's to help you release a lower vibration or a family lineage energy that needs to be released. And it will give you those clues to be able to say, I get it now. Now I can let this go and I can move forward like I have in many, many of my past life experiences. Once you figure out who the power players are in each lives, again, it's a repeated pattern.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if there's somebody that keeps coming up on your mind, if there is somebody that you keep thinking of, reach out to that person. They may have a message for you. Even if you haven't contacted them for 20, 30 years, just reach out to them. There may be some information that they have to give you, that they come back into your memory or your thought process.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a lesson that you have to learn from them, or maybe you have some information to give them. You know, I know that there's an old friend of mine that's has been talking to my daughter for the last 3 months, trying to get hold of me, and today we've connected. And it's just to say, hi, how you doing? I'm in Southeast Asia, thanks very much, and I'm in Croatia. I'll see you in the summer. Great, you know, we're just going to catch up again. But there's a reason for this, and I know that what this reason is because of what's happening in his life. And there's a reason why we reconnect with other people in our lives, and it's so important that we don't shut ourselves out from receiving this information. Not to be afraid of it. If we're having sleepless nights, write down what's going through your mind, and come back to it the next day. If you're having dreams, keep a dream journal, write them down, because there are messages there. I mean, I know after our conversation tonight, Carrie, that I'm going to have to go back to some dreams that I had last year because there's relevance to them today.
Mm-hmm.
And it is about Atlantis. It is about my own twin soul journey. It is about my own divine path of where I am going, and who is on that journey with me, and who is not on that journey with me.
Yep.
And it is important that we really do close the book, not just the chapter,
yes.
the book
Yep.
on the past.
Yep.
And we free ourselves. And, you know, I coach on a regular basis, and I do trigger people. I trigger people to look at themselves in a way that they've never looked at themselves before. And this releases so much from their soul. It's healthy. It's like crying. Crying is healthy for you. Don't worry about crying in the street or anything. Go for a jog and start crying. This is really, really good for you. And don't hold it back, because it's coming out for a reason. It's a release.
Yeah. Yep. That would be it.
Yes.
It's sorry, I'm just getting pulled into something, and then something just ding. I just heard a bell go off, and I came out of where I went.
Okay.
So
must be Buddha.
I feel it's important that I got it as well, to share that we are coming together as soul family members. So again, as you're going through this, you know, this process you're going through right now, that people from your past lives, these are soulmates. You've lived these lives with them before. So that could be why they're showing back up again, because maybe they were meant to go and learn their lessons with other people. But at this time now, when we're ascending and we're going into the new book, that they're meant to show back up again. So, you know, do go a little bit deeper and ask yourself, are they showing up for a specific reason to close something that I've forgotten about? Or is this because they are part of the new, and they truly are part of my soul family?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the next week's show is quite appropriate. Again, is listening to your higher self. It's getting to about a box of chocolates. Life is like a box of chocolates, as Forrest Gump would say. Take off the wrappers and enjoy the centers and really appreciate the smaller things in life and get back into Mother Nature, get back into terra firma and get to grips with your inner self.
Yes.
And the inner child, going back to your childhood, looking at your childhood. You may have thought that you had the best childhood, but there may be something in your childhood that wasn't quite right, that's been suppressed. And just go and investigate this. Ask your family how you were as a child. Ask old friends how they saw you, as you were mentioning last week. Different situations, different people thinking different things after 20 years or 5 years, a different end result. And it is so important that if you're having dreams, to write them down, because there's a message in there for you. Not to be afraid, because you're worthy, and you're worthy of the love that is just oozing up inside of you, ready to come out. And I know next week we're going to have a really good show. Listen to yourself. So, for me, goodbye. I'm sorry I spoke so much, but there you go. That's what it's about.
It's all good, Dean. It's all good, my dear. So thank you all for joining us on Vibration Nation Radio, and we will see you all again next week. Have a beautiful, wonderful week, my friends. Bye-bye.
Bye.